Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, and of course Arnie does too. Now many of us are fascinated with the time of the dinosaurs. It's interesting to find out what creatures used to roam this earth, and what life was like so many millions of years ago. But after the mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs, there were still plenty of interesting creatures that existed before the time of human dominance. The earth used to have a wide range of megafauna, some of which are related to modern day animals. In this video I will be focusing on these creatures and their relatives, as I'll be going through 5 animals that used to be giants. And the first animals I'll be focusing on are the sloths. Now there are 6 species of sloth alive today, and these species are normally split into 2 groups, the 2-toed sloths and the 3-toed sloths. These mammals are mostly sluggish tree dwellers, and are found throughout both Central and South America. They spend most of their lives in tropical rainforests, where they only move at a rate of around 40 yards per day. When they're not resting, they generally feed on vegetation, and their slow lifestyle leads to them having a low metabolic rate. They are targeted by some predators, but their slow lethargic lifestyle helps them avoid being detected. Although these cute animals may seem very underwhelming, they do have a hidden skill. They are often known to drop down into rivers and lakes, where they prove to be quite impressive swimmers. Even though there are only 6 species alive today, there were once far more sloths. The ground sloths are a diverse group of extinct sloths that once roamed both North and South America. Although these creatures look very different to modern day sloths, they are directly related to them, but are also distantly related to anteaters and armadillos. The largest of these sloths stood around 12 feet tall when on its hind legs, meaning that it was quite a difficult target for predators. As well as this size, they also had another defensive barrier, as they were known to be covered in osteoderms. Amazingly, these osteoderms can still be seen today, as a mummified part of a ground sloth has been excavated. It's thought that these ground sloths went extinct around 11,000 years ago, but the ground sloths of the Caribbean were around much longer. It's thought that climate change played a role in their extinction, which also claimed the lives of many other species of megafauna in the area. There's also evidence that these creatures were also hunted by man, and even though they're difficult beasts to take down, humans proved to be quite successful. It's thought that modern day sloths survive to this day because they could avoid humans, so even though these relatives were much larger, their size contributed to their downfall. But our next group of animals are the apes. Now apes are some of our closest relatives, and are also some of the most intelligent animals on this planet today. Despite this, many apes are critically endangered, as they suffer greatly from deforestation and habitat loss. Although apes come in many different shapes and sizes, gorillas are probably the strongest and scariest of them all. The average strength of the silverback gorilla is equivalent to 20 adult human beings, and you'd be a fool to mess with these creatures. Although these are the largest primates alive today, they were tiny compared to one of their relatives, the Gigantopithecus. These apes were found in what is modern day China, where it's thought to be a herbivore, feeding on vegetation as well as fruits. It possessed powerful grinding jaws, which were perfect for breaking down this vegetation. But when the teeth of this giant ape were first discovered, they were commonly thought to belong to a different animal. They were often sold in Chinese drugstores as dragon teeth, until scientists could later identify them. Although these apes are often depicted as gorilla-like, it's thought that their closest living relatives are orangutans. It's possible that they looked very similar to them, and lived a very similar lifestyle. There's very little we know about these apes, and their size is still disputed, but it's thought that the largest species could reach 3 meters tall, which would dwarf any modern day apes. It's thought that Gigantopithecus went extinct around 100,000 years ago, and their size might have been a reason behind this. Because they were so large, they needed a large amount of food, and as climate change affected most of the foliage in their area, it's thought that they couldn't survive, and they eventually died out. So although these apes were very impressive, their size really was a burden in the end. But our next group of animals are the bears. Now there are 8 species of bear alive today that can be found all across the globe. Most of these bears are quite closely related to each other, and some can even interbreed. The smallest species is the Southeast Asian sun bear, which is facing struggles with habitat loss and poaching today. The largest is of course the polar bear, which is one of the largest land carnivores on this planet today. They are known for being able to take down almost any prey item they come across, and are proof that mammals can survive in almost any climate in the world. Despite this bear's impressive size, they once had much larger family members. The giant short-faced bear was sometimes known as the bulldog bear, because of its strangely short snout. These creatures once roamed across North America, and was undoubtedly the fastest running bear that ever lived. They had much longer legs than modern day bears, and measured around 5 feet at the shoulders. It's possible that they could have stood 12 feet on their hind legs, and I'm sure you definitely wouldn't want to run into one. These bears were mostly carnivorous, and fed on most of the other megafauna that was found in North America at the time. Although these bears were giant, they weren't related to the largest bear on Earth today, but their closest relative is the spectacled bear. These bears can be found in South America today, and are the only surviving species of bear native to South America today. It's thought that these bears went extinct around 11,000 years ago, and it's thought that this may be a result of the loss of other megafauna in the area. With most of its prey dying out, it would also die out too, and they also faced competition competition from grizzly bears that entered North America from Eurasia. So although it's sad that they're gone, at least you don't have to worry about running into them when you're in the woods. But our next group of animals are the sharks. There are over 500 species of shark alive today, and unfortunately 143 of these are threatened. Although the most famous species are carnivores, many are harmless filter feeders, including the largest fish alive today. Many of them specialise in hunting different prey, with some being expert ambush predators, and others being specialist crustacean hunters. Although shark attacks are very rare, thanks to many good and bad movies, many of us have a fear of these creatures. This is one reason why less people seem to care about shark conservation, as they would for conservation for other cute animals. But 100 million sharks are killed every year, mainly to supply the shark fin soup industry. Sharks play an important role in the ecosystem, and without sharks around, many marine ecosystems will suffer. Although some great whites today can reach monstrous sizes, as I'm sure many of you know, they used to grow a lot larger. The Megalodon is thought to be the largest fish that ever existed, and even though movies and some crazy people would have you believe, they are not alive today. The shark is an extinct species of mackerel shark, which is an order that also includes the great white shark, the goblin shark, and the megamouth shark. As these sharks don't have any bones, most of the evidence of this shark's existence are based on giant teeth. These teeth are reflected in their name, as Megalodon derives from the Greek meaning giant tooth. Their size is still debated, but it's thought that these giant sharks could reach around 20 meters long. The ocean would be a much scarier place with these sharks in it, and their large size meant they fed on very large prey. It's thought that juveniles fed on seals and sea turtles, but the adults targeted much larger prey such as whales. It's thought that these colossal sharks went extinct around 2.6 million years ago, and there are quite a few reasons behind this. Climate change was thought to be one factor, as the cooling ocean led to less area that these sharks could survive in. Their prey was also thought to be another factor, as their warm-blooded prey could survive in cooler areas, which meant that they could totally avoid these sharks. Their extinction also coincides with a gigantism trend in baleen whales, and they also faced competition from other predators, such as some of the extinct predatory whales. So although it inspires some terrible movies, I'm sure many people will be happy that they're not still alive today. But our final group of animals are the kangaroos. Now these are some of the most famous marsupials in the world, and are most well known for their pouches and the way they move. Very few animals move in the same way as these kangaroos, and it's the perfect way to get around their native habitat. Of course, the large majority of kangaroos can be found in Australia, which is known for having a very unique ecosystem. The largest species of kangaroo is the red kangaroo, and some of these individuals can be quite threatening. They're known for being very muscular and could take on most people in a fight if they wanted to. Despite these kangaroos being somewhat intimidating, there was once a far larger relative. The giant short-faced kangaroo once roamed Australia and was the largest known kangaroo species that ever existed. The largest stood around 2.7 meters tall, dwarfing modern-day kangaroos. As you can tell by their name, their faces were very different to modern-day kangaroos and looked almost rabbit-like. They were found in semi-arid areas of South Australia and New South Wales, where they specialised on a diet of leaves from trees and shrubs. It's thought that because of their size they didn't hop like modern-day kangaroos, but instead they had at least 2 limbs on the ground at once. It's thought that these giant kangaroos went extinct around 15,000 years ago, and it's thought that their extinction could have been caused by climate change during the Pleistocene. It's thought that human hunting could have also played a part, and because it's thought that they couldn't hop like modern-day kangaroos, they would have been an easy target for hunters. So although it would have been very cool to see one of them alive today, unfortunately they are just for the history books. But that's about it for this video. If you have any other video suggestions, then let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. But until next time, goodbye.